Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. First, I just want to thank you for taking a few minutes to be here with me. I know there are countless opportunities, advertisements, and opinions online these days, so I genuinely appreciate you being open enough to take a look at something new. If you're here, I'm guessing something caught your attention. Maybe you've been thinking more about your future. Maybe you've been wondering if there's another way to create additional income without giving up everything you're already doing. Or maybe you've simply reached a point where you're asking yourself, what do I want the next chapter of my life to look like? I know that was the question I found myself asking. For me, it wasn't that life was bad. I loved many parts of my life. But I also knew I wanted more flexibility, more freedom over my time, more choices about how I spent my days, and I wanted to build something that could grow alongside what I was already doing, not replace it. Maybe you can relate. Maybe you're working hard, doing everything you're supposed to do, and still wondering if it'll be enough. Maybe retirement is getting closer, and everything seems to cost more than it used to. Maybe you've gone through a life change, a job loss, a divorce, an empty nest, a move. Or maybe you're simply realizing that what worked yesterday may not create the future you really want. Or maybe things are actually going pretty well, but you've realized that doing okay isn't quite enough anymore. You'd love more flexibility, more freedom, more time for the people and things that matter most. Maybe that's traveling. Maybe it's spending more time with your family. Maybe it's simply having a little more breathing room and a little less financial stress. Whatever brought you here, I want you to know you're not alone. I've talked to so many people who feel exactly the same way, people who aren't looking for a magic solution. They're simply looking for a better path forward, and maybe that's why you're here too. So let me tell you what this is and what it isn't. This isn't a get-rich-quick promise. It's not about chasing people, convincing your friends, or becoming someone you're not. It's a real online business built around a proven system that's been helping ordinary people create additional income for years. During this overview, I'm going to show you how it works, where the income comes from, what your role is, what support is available, and why so many people who've never built an online business before have been able to learn this step by step. Then you can decide for yourself if it's something you'd like to explore further. No pressure, no obligation, just information. Because I believe the best decisions are made when people understand what they're looking at and have the freedom to decide what's right for them. So let me introduce myself. I'm Kathy. A few years ago, I wasn't looking for another business. I was simply open to learning something new. At the time, I was working in real estate, juggling other responsibilities, and like a lot of people, I was thinking about what I wanted the next chapter of my life to look like. What I found wasn't what I expected. And that's what I want to share with you today. Before we go any further, I want to answer a few of the questions that almost everyone has at this point. The first one is usually, do I have to be a salesperson to do this? The answer is no. You don't need sales experience. You don't need a huge social media following. And you definitely don't need to be a technology expert. In fact, most people who get started are everyday people who simply wanted to create another stream of income or more flexibility for their future. That was certainly true for me. One of the reasons I decided to take a closer look was because I wasn't interested in trying to figure everything out on my own. I wanted a proven system. I wanted training. I wanted mentorship. And I wanted to learn from people who had already built what I was hoping to build. That gave me confidence. The other thing that really encouraged me was seeing so many ordinary people creating real results. Teachers, nurses, real estate agents, parents, retirees, people from all different backgrounds who simply decided to learn a new skill and follow a proven process. You'll hear from some of them a little later. Now, this is just an overview. I'm not going to overwhelm you with every detail today. My goal is simply to help you understand how the business works so you can decide whether it's something you'd like to explore further. So let's keep it simple. When you really think about it, every successful online business comes down to three things. First, you need something people already want. Second, you need a system that helps turn interested people into customers. And third, you need a way to get your business in front of the right people. That's really the foundation of every online business, regardless of the industry. Let's start with the first one, having a product or service. This is actually where many people get stuck before they ever begin. They think they need to invent something, create their own course, build a personal brand, figure out manufacturing, buy inventory, or somehow become an expert before they can even get started. It's no wonder so many people feel overwhelmed. Maybe you've even tried something before. Maybe you bought a course that you never really knew how to use. Maybe you opened an Etsy shop. Maybe you experimented with affiliate marketing or dropshipping. The truth is, there are a lot of legitimate ways to make money online. But without the right system, structure, and support, it's easy to spend a lot of time without getting the results you're hoping for. What made this different for me was realizing I didn't have to start from scratch. We partner with established companies that already have products people are buying every single day. The products already exist. The fulfillment is already handled. Customer service is already in place. When someone places an order, the company processes the payment, ships the product, and takes care of the customer. You're not stocking inventory. You're not packing boxes. You're not making trips to the post office. That entire side of the business is handled for you, which naturally leads to the next question. Okay, if I'm not creating the products or shipping the orders, how do I actually get paid? That's exactly what we're going to cover next. So how does the income side of this actually work? The business model is based on affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing simply means that a company pays you a commission when your marketing helps generate a sale. Instead of hiring a large sales force, companies can partner with independent affiliates who help introduce their products to new customers. This isn't a new concept. Amazon has an affiliate program. Travel companies pay commissions for bookings. Banks and other businesses often offer referral incentives when someone brings them a new customer. The basic idea is the same. You help connect the right person with a product or service, and when a qualifying sale is made through your system, you can earn a commission. But here's the part that's important to understand. Having access to affiliate commissions does not automatically mean you'll make money. You still need a way to take someone from being curious to actually understanding the offer and deciding whether it's right for them. That brings us to the second part of the business, the sales system. This is where many people struggle when they try to build something online by themselves. They may have a product to promote, but they don't know what to say. They don't know how to follow up. They don't know how to explain the value clearly. And they may not have the training or experience to build the technology behind it all. Sometimes they try to piece everything together on their own. Other times they spend a great deal of money hiring people to build it for them. With this system, the sales funnel is already provided. And if the words sales funnel sound technical, don't worry. I didn't fully understand what one was when I first started either. A sales funnel is simply a guided path. It takes someone from being curious to learning more, to understanding the product and the business, and eventually deciding whether or not they want to make a purchase. That's all it is. The technology behind that process has already been built, tested, and put in place. The system provides the pages, the product information, the email follow-up, and the steps that guide people through the decision-making process. That means you're not sitting in front of your computer wondering what to say next. You're not personally explaining every detail over and over again, and you're not trying to pressure someone into buying something. People can go through the information at their own pace. They can watch, they can read, they can think about it, and they can decide for themselves. When a qualifying sale happens through your funnel, you can earn a commission based on the company's compensation structure. So the first part is having established products. The second part is having a system that explains those products and guides people through the process. And the third part is helping the right people find that system. This is where traffic comes in. Traffic is simply another word for people seeing your information. The training teaches you how to use social media and other online platforms to introduce the business to people who may already be looking for something different. Most of us already spend time online. We scroll, we watch videos, we read posts, we search for information. This business teaches you how to use some of that same technology to build an income-producing skill. It does take learning, it takes practice, and it takes consistency, but it is something that can be learned. And I want to clear up a few common concerns right here. You do not need thousands of followers. You do not need to become an influencer. You do not have to cold message everyone you know, and you do not have to depend on your family and friends to become your customers. At this point, you may be thinking, okay, I understand the basic idea, but what would I actually do first? That's exactly why the training and mentorship are so important. You're not simply handed a website and expected to figure everything out by yourself. There's a training platform that walks you through the process step by step and in a clear order. You also have access to mentorship and coaching from people who understand the system and have experience using it. So when questions come up, and they will, you have somewhere to go. You have people who can help you understand the next step, work through challenges, and continue moving forward. Now let's make your role very clear. Your primary role is to help bring interested people into the sales funnel. You can do that through paid advertising or through free organic marketing on social media. The training shows you how to create the content or ads, how to put them in front of the right audience, and how to improve what you're doing as you learn. Once someone enters the funnel, the system helps educate them. It explains the products. It provides follow-up. And it guides them through the information so they can make their own decision. So you're not responsible for doing every part of the business. You're not processing orders. You're not handling shipping. You're not providing customer support. And you're not expected to personally close every sale. Your focus is learning how to introduce the information to the right people and then allowing the system to do the job it was designed to do. That's one reason this can work for many different kinds of people. Introverts, busy parents, people approaching retirement, people with full-time jobs, people who have never built an online business before. Most people do not begin with advanced technical skills or a marketing background. That's completely normal. The training and mentorship exist because you're not expected to know everything on day one. You learn the skills as you go. You practice them, you improve, and you have guidance along the way. So it's also completely normal if you're sitting there thinking, could I really do this? What if I'm not very technical? What if I've never done anything like this before? What if I don't feel confident yet? Here's the truth. One of the questions I hear all the time is, what if I've never done anything like this before? The truth is, most people who get started are complete beginners. They don't come in with experience, they don't know all the technology, and they certainly don't have everything figured out. What they do have is a willingness to learn. One thing I've learned is that confidence doesn't usually come first. Confidence comes from learning, from taking one step at a time, from practicing, from making mistakes, and from having people around you who are there to help. You don't have to know everything before you begin. You simply have to be coachable and willing to learn a new skill. Everything else is something you build over time. Another question people often ask me is this legitimate? And I completely understand why people ask that. There are a lot of opportunities online, and it's smart to ask questions before getting involved in anything. This is a commission-based business. When you earn commissions, they're reported just like other forms of taxable income, according to the tax rules where you live. For example, in the United States, commissions are generally reported on a 1099. In Canada, they're generally reported on a T4A. The exact reporting varies by country, but the important point is that this is a legitimate business model with income that's reported in accordance with applicable tax laws. Another thing I appreciated is that I wasn't starting a traditional business from scratch. I didn't need a storefront. I didn't need to buy inventory. I wasn't shipping products. I wasn't handling customer service. And I didn't need to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars like you might with some other businesses. Because it's an online business, it also offers flexibility. You can build it from home, or while you're traveling, or around your current job and family responsibilities. For me, that flexibility was a big part of the appeal. You're stepping into a business that's already been built, with training, mentorship, and systems already in place. Your job is to learn how to use those systems. Now, I'd like to share something that made a real difference for me. As I started meeting people in this community, I realized they weren't all experienced entrepreneurs. They came from all kinds of backgrounds: teachers, parents, healthcare workers, business owners, people approaching retirement, people looking for a fresh start. Many of them had the same questions and doubts that I had. They wondered if they could really learn something like this. They wondered if they were too late. They wondered if they had what it takes. But they made the decision to learn. They stayed consistent. And over time, they began creating results. At this point, you've probably got a pretty good understanding of how the business works. You've seen the basic structure. You've learned about the business model. And hopefully you have a clearer picture of why this is different from simply trying to figure everything out on your own. The next question is usually, what if I'd like to learn more? That's where the next step comes in. There's a one-time $149 program fee, and I'd like to explain exactly what that includes. Think of today's webinar as the overview. The next step is where you get the complete picture. You'll be able to see the companies we partner with, the products and services, the compensation plan, the training platform, the business systems, and exactly what getting started would look like if you decide to move forward. Most importantly, you'll have time. You have 30 days to go through the information at your own pace. There's no pressure to make an immediate decision. My encouragement is to take your time, explore everything, write down your questions, and decide whether it's something that's right for you. If, after reviewing everything, you decide it's not the right fit, you can request a refund within those 30 days. The only exception is if you choose to schedule your personal coaching call. That coaching session is individualized and designed specifically for you, so once you've received that coaching, the $149 becomes non-refundable. If you do decide to move forward, that same $149 also covers your business setup, your coaching, your training, and getting you connected with the community. And one thing many people appreciate is that there are no ongoing monthly membership fees to remain part of the training platform. Another question I hear is, why isn't all of this information simply included in today's webinar? That's a fair question. The purpose of today's webinar is to give you enough information to understand the business model without overwhelming you. The next step is where you can take a much deeper look. Instead of trying to explain every company, every product, every compensation detail, and every part of the system in one presentation, you receive organized access to everything so you can learn at your own pace. You'll also have access to a coach who can answer your questions and help you determine whether this business is a good fit for your goals. The goal isn't to convince you. The goal is to give you enough information to make an informed decision. That's really important to me. I don't want anyone moving forward simply because they're excited. I want them moving forward because they understand what they're saying yes to. Now, this business isn't for everyone, but it could be worth exploring if you're looking for another way to create income, if you'd like more flexibility in your future, if you're open to learning new skills, and if you're willing to follow a proven process instead of trying to build everything on your own. By now, you're probably in one of two places. You may still have questions, or you may be thinking, this is definitely something I'd like to learn more about. Either response is completely normal. For me, paying the $149 wasn't really about buying information. It was about giving myself permission to stop wondering, what if, and finally see the complete picture before making a decision. As we wrap up, I want to bring this back to where we started. Maybe you came here because you've been thinking more about your future. Maybe you'd like more flexibility. Maybe you're looking for another way to create income, or maybe you simply know you want something different, but you haven't been sure what that could look like. Whatever brought you here, I hope this overview has helped you understand the basic structure of the business and why I decided to take a closer look. The next step is not about committing to start a business. It's simply about giving yourself the opportunity to see the full picture. The one-time $149 program fee gives you access to the detailed information, including the company's products, compensation structure, training platform, business systems, and what getting started would actually involve. Once you register, you'll receive an email with access to the pre-coaching videos and the private business community. From there, you can go through everything at your own pace. Take notes, write down your questions, explore the community, and decide whether this is something that makes sense for you. You have 30 days to review the information. If you decide it isn't the right fit, you can request a refund within that period, as long as you haven't completed your personal coaching call. If you do decide you'd like to move forward, you can schedule your coaching call and receive guidance on your next steps. For me, taking this step wasn't about having all the answers. It was about giving myself permission to stop wondering and finally see what the complete business looked like. And that's really what I want for you. Not pressure, not hype, just the chance to look at everything carefully and make a decision that feels right for your life and your goals. This may be exactly what you've been looking for, or it may not be. But the only way to know is to take an honest look. So if you're curious and you'd like to explore the business in more detail, go ahead and take the next step. Take your time, ask your questions, review everything carefully, and decide from a place of clarity. I look forward to welcoming you on the inside.